Hello and welcome to another night shift. My name is Yazil, and today we're starting to implement MySQL and the MySQL connector plugin for our DarkRIft system. So at first we want to install the MySQL database, so we don't need Unity. I opened up the website over here. It's www.mysql.com. You just go on to the download, and under download you click on the Windows system if you have on Windows, and you click on the installer. Here you can look for the installer. Just download this mini file here, and after you do that you click on the install. I already did that, so I can't show you that. But there are many good tutorials in explicit MySQL installing. You get an option window where you can select a couple of different parts of MySQL. Just click everything if you're not sure what to click. The important thing is after you install it, you get the opportunity to put in a password for your root user. And that's an important password you need to remember. Also write it down or whatever you do to remember your passwords. So after you installed it, you got a little program. It's called MySQL Workbench. I start that up, and in your workbench you can connect to your local MySQL database. You see here it's root and on the localhost port. I just click that, and this is the little tool to observe your server and going for new schemas and new tables and databases and stuff like that. So what we need for our game is to implement a new scheme, and you right click on this area here and create a scheme. I call it across game. You just call it whatever you want. Just remember that and hit apply. In the moment there's next in, so just apply, SQL statement, finish, and that's it. You've got a new schema over here which has tables, views and stuff like that. In the moment there's nothing in, we will fill that automatically with our stuff from the plugins we write for DarkRIft. Next of all, you need to make a user. Just add an account and type in here whatever user you want to use. I name it user for Acros. Standard password limit. I don't limit it the access. Just we used a wildcard here, and password. You also have to write that down because we need that until direct when we install our plugins. So click on apply, and also you can give them all rights here, the administrative role and schemas. You can say add in schema to alls or select one scheme, and of course we want to have access to this across game, which we did before here in the schemas. Okay, and I just select all, also grant. And so this user has full access to this database we just created. Going on apply, and that's all we need in the moment in this workbench. So let's close that up. So since MySQL is installed now, we work on the MySQL connector, which we have to implement in our DarkRIft networking. For that, you can go on my website. It's yearzio.de, and a little bit down, you got here the project Acros, which I named my game just to have a name for it. And you can see here the MySQL connector, and the original is at https github.com jamjar00, which is the hyper guy who programmed the whole DarkRIft network. I can show that it's here. There are two plugins which are free. It's the connector and the login plugin. We work on the connector in the moment. Here are a couple stuff also for the embedded version of DarkRIft. We don't need that. I updated or packed the package for just what stuff we need out of this package. So just download it and unpack the MySQL connector.zip into a folder. As you can see here, the original, which is quite larger, we don't need that. So after you unpacked it, we have to build a DLL. So you need to work with these Microsoft Visual Studio, which is also on my website here, a link for the version you need. We click and see here the community version. You can download, install. You need a user at Microsoft, but that's no problem at all. And when you got that, just double hit on this SLN, which started up the Visual Studio. It's over here. I opened here this connector, CS for C#. We're doing everything in C#, of course. Here you can see a couple modules we need. Also, which is inside the DarkRIft DLL, the transmission DLL, and the MySQL stuff. So we can connect with MySQL. When you have that open, I explain a little bit what's going on here in this file. This is general stuff for the plugin in DarkRIft, and which is here. This has everything to do with the installation of the plugin and also with the read the setup information out of a settings file. So you have the configuration hand in readable text. These are the couple functions for handle with MySQL. For example, here execute non-query. We may change a little bit later on, but in the moment this is absolutely fine and everything we need. To build the stuff, you go on here and going for make the project. That reminds me to change everything into German, into English, so you can understand that better. So it's this button, and after that you should have a success one here. I already did that before, so my plugin is up to date in a moment. So we close that and see on our bin release, that nothing of course, debug, and there is the MySQL connector DLL. You copy that and bring it to our server, which is over here, plugins, and paste. And when we go and open up the server now, it tells us load the database connector, MySQL connector version 1.0. We close that and go into our plugins folder, and we see there's a new folder which is MySQL connector, which is the same name as our DLL plugin. Double hit it and you see there's a settings.cnf. We open that, and here's now our connection string to our database. And as you can see, here is the information we need to change. For example, our database, or the database I named, is across game. You remember that from the workbench. And the username, I don't know the username in a moment, so I going back to my workbench. Where's my workbench? I have to open it again, which is no, we just put it here. And you can see user, and my name was user for Acros. Acros, and here in the password, no panic, I changed already the password. So it's on localhost connection. If you want to run that on a machine which is in the internet, you need the IP number over here. And the database name, of course, was, see here, Acros Game. And username, user for Acros, and PLOK1 2 is the password I chose before. We save that and close. Going to our server, and it's still running, so everything is fine. That's for now. In the next part we will implement a login plugin. At first we want to try out the plugin which is free on the GitHub we saw before. Next we will change this plugin to our needs and shorten it a little bit and just make it usable for our purpose. Thank you for listening, and if you like it, just put the like button or even the subscribe button. So that would be very nice. And I would say happy night shift and see you soon. Bye bye.